Welcome to our dill pickle soup recipe. We're going to be talking about how to make dill pickle soup, which is a local specialty here in Wyandotte, Michigan. This lesson is designed for people that are practicing life skills, working in transition skills, or just anybody that wants to make a really delicious dill pickle soup recipe. Let's begin. Step 1. Wash your hands. Remember, when we're washing our hands, we're using warm soapy water and we're counting to 30 to make sure we get all of those germs. Let's count to 30 together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Almost there. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Great job. Make sure you dry your hands with a clean towel or clean paper towel. And if you're preparing food for others, it's a good rule of thumb to wear rubber gloves. Let's move on to step 2. Step 2. Dice 2 pounds of peeled potatoes into cubes. Add to a bowl with water. Now, there's lots of different ways to peel and dice potatoes. Some people use a hand peeler. Some people use a knife. Some people honestly leave the skins on. They prefer the texture. In our classroom, we use a chopper like this one. And make sure you just soak that in cold water. Should say cold. So let's add that there because warm water would make the potatoes have a weird texture. Let's go to step 3. Step 3. Add 2 cups of diced carrots to the slow cooker. Now the same goes for carrots. Some people peel their carrots. Some people, we happen to use baby carrots in our classroom, so we don't need to peel them. They're pre-peeled. And again, we use a chopper like this, but if you want to use your knife, go right on ahead. Step 4. Add 3 cups of vegetable stock to the slow cooker. Now, the interesting thing with vegetable stock is it comes in boxes from Aldi. That's where we go shopping. But it's always in ounces. So how do we determine how many ounces are in 3 cups? Well, the way I do it is via math. All right, so we need to know, first off, how many ounces are in a cup? Well, we've gone over this in class a lot. Go ahead and think about it. If you come up with a number, I'll give you some time. That's right. Of course, there are 8 ounces in every cup. So we multiply 3, the known that we have, 3 cups by 8 ounces, which we also knew. And that means that there's going to be 24 ounces. 3 cups is the same as 24 ounces. Let me write that again. 3 cups is the same as 24 ounces. Excellent job, friends. Let's move on to our next slide. Number 5. Add 1 cup of diced dill pickles to the slow cooker. All right, so here's a dill pickle. We're going to run it right through our chopper and into the slow cooker. And you might think, well, that's not a lot of pickles for dill pickle soup, but don't worry, there's more flavor coming. Step 6. Add 1/4 cup of coconut milk, 1/4 cup cornstarch, and 2 cups of pickle juice to the slow cooker. Now the recipe that we're making today is both vegan and vegetarian. And we choose to make it that way in our classroom so that more students and more staff can enjoy. And it just makes it a little more inclusive for everybody if we use our plant-based products. Not that you have to. It would be very delicious with heavy whipping cream. It would be very delicious with whole milk from a cow. But we just choose to use coconut because it allows just a few more people to have an opportunity to enjoy. Now the 2 cups of pickle juice, that's where a lot of our pickly, tangy flavors are going to come from with this soup. Let's go on to step 7. Just 1 second. Here we are, step 7. Add 2 teaspoons of Old Bay seasoning, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and a ½ teaspoon of cayenne pepper to the slow cooker. Now, this is making a lot of soup. This will make enough to serve about 8 people. So a ½ teaspoon of cayenne pepper is not going to make this soup spicy. But if you're nervous, you can always leave that heat out. That's the great thing about soup. You can kind of just make it the way it tastes good to you, and that'll work. Step 8, it's just keep warm, right? Because we've already boiled our potatoes back in step 4. We boiled our potatoes until they were tender, right? Before we added in the pickles, before we added in the coconut milk. So this soup is very quick to put together. And so in step 8, we're saying cook for 6 to 12 hours. This is just keep warm, right? Just put it on the warming center and let it kind of go. This is a very big favorite soup in our Polish community here in Wyandotte, Michigan. You'll find it in a lot of diners on their menu, but it is a regional favorite, not something you might see everywhere, but definitely worth a try. So the next, we're going to pause right here, and then we're going to move on to our food pyramid exercise. We're going to determine whether or not this dill pickle soup is healthy or unhealthy. Okay, here we are on our food pyramid. As always, we're going to talk about whether the recipe was a healthy recipe or an unhealthy recipe. And I'm hoping that you're going to be able to make those determinations for yourself. Now, the top of our food pyramid, way up here, is fats and sugars, and we want to use them very sparingly. In fact, we're going to raise that little bar just a bit. Ooh, I'll do that for the next video. But we want to use just the teeniest bit of fat and sugar when we're cooking healthy recipes. The next segment here is dairy, and we're looking for 2 to 3 servings of dairy. For protein, again, 2 to 3 servings daily of protein. Vegetables, 3 to 5 servings of vegetables each day. Fruits, 2 to 4 servings of fruits. And then grains, 6 to 11 servings of grain each day. So let's go through what we have here. The first thing we have down here is a potato. And while potatoes are vegetables, when it comes to the food pyramid, we always treat those like grains because they're very high in starch. And that high starch content acts just like a grain, and so we put it down here in the grain section. Next, we have coconut milk. And while it does say milk in it, and that might confuse some people as to whether that's a dairy or a fruit, because it's made from coconuts, we're going to go ahead and put it right over here in fruit. We're going to put it right there in the fruits and vegetable, or in the fruit section. Next is a pickle. Now, pickles are vegetables, but what kind of a vegetable is a pickle? I'm going to give you 3 seconds and see if any of you can come up with that answer. If you knew that dill pickles started off life as cucumbers, you are correct. And if you knew that cucumbers were vegetables, you are doubly correct. They are. So that's going to go in our vegetable section. What about this orange item with a green leafy top? If anybody knows what that is, go ahead and say it out loud to yourself and try and decide, where should that go? Where should this item go? I'm going to go ahead and say it. It is a carrot. I hope you guys all got that. And is a carrot a vegetable or is it a protein? If you guys knew that carrots are vegetables, you are correct. And the last item that we have, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so you guys can all get a good look. It is a green item. It looks like it has a long stalk and a couple of little leaves here at the end. Go ahead and think about that. When you bite into these, they're very crispy. They're very crunchy. They have a slight peppery taste to them. What is this item? If you knew it was celery, you're correct. Now, go on ahead and determine, is celery a vegetable or a fruit? If you knew that celery is a vegetable, you're correct. Great job, everybody. Let's go ahead and look at our food pyramid. Right now, we have 1, 2, 3 vegetables in this soup, 1 serving of fruit, and grains. What do we think, ladies and gentlemen? Is this a healthy option? Is this a healthy option or an unhealthy option? Take a few seconds and make your choice. If you were able to determine that this soup is healthy, you are correct. It's doubly healthy because we even took out the heavy cream that's usually in this soup and we substituted it with a plant-based coconut milk. Not only making it a product now that our vegetarian and vegan friends can eat, but also lowering the fat content of the entire soup, adding to its healthy properties. All right, if you stayed with us this far, go on ahead and hold tight. We're going to start our boom card activity where we're going to dig into these different ingredients and get to be a little more familiar with them. Okay, here we are in our boom card activity, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the ingredients that we're using. First, we're gonna determine which one of these 2 items is a dill pickle. The item on the left is in a yellow rectangular box and it has a letter B on it. B. The item on the right is a vegetable. It is kind of bumpy on the outside and green. It has very firm skin, and when you bite into it, there's a there should be a very loud snapping sound. When you eat it, it's very tangy. It can make your mouth water. So based on those 2 descriptions, is the dill pickle on the left or the right? That's right. If you choose the coconut milk. The right. Coconut milk. You were correct. Now this slide wants us to find the coconut milk. And first we have the item on the left. It is a green vegetable. It's got a thick green stalk and little tiny florets on the end. The item on the right side of your screen is in a can. It's a liquid, and I see a very large C, C, and on the front of the label is an opened coconut. Based on those 2 descriptions, which one is the coconut milk? If you were able to guess the item on the right, you're correct. Choose the vegetable broth. All right, we're looking for vegetable broth on this screen. The item on the left is a box. It has a picture of some vegetables on the front of it. It's got a pour spout at the top of the box, meaning that there is liquid inside. Liquid. The item on the right is a vegetable with a stalky root. It looks like maybe it grew off of a vine where they cut it off. It has green, shiny skin. Based on those 2 descriptions, which item is the vegetable stock? If you chose the item on the left, you are correct. Choose the carrot. Carrot. Now, carrots. We know that carrots are vegetables. We know that carrots are orange. And we know that carrots are crunchy. Okay, so based on those descriptions, let's talk about the item on the left. The item on the left is a vegetable with an orange body and green leafy stalks that grow up out of the ground. And it is when you bite into it, it can be hard, it's crunchy, and sweet, a little sweet. The item on the right is in a rectangular box. It is yellow in color, and I see a very large letter B, so I bet the item inside makes the B sound. Based on those two descriptions, which one do you think is the carrot? If you said the item on the left, you're right.
Choose the pepper. Pepper.
Okay. Now, when we're talking about pepper, we're not talking about like green bell peppers or red bell peppers or chili peppers or jalapeno peppers. Those are all items that grow in the ground. They're vegetables. We are talking about black pepper, which is a spice that gets ground up into a black powder. And it's can be a little spicy if you eat it by itself. If you smell it, it can make you sneeze. And it's used in lots and lots of different recipes. It's very, very versatile. So the item that's what we're looking for. The item that's on the left is in a rectangular box. It does have a pour spout up top, so we know that means it's a liquid inside. And I see a picture of a cow on the box. The item on the right is in a glass jar, and it has a silver top with little bitty holes in it so that when you turn it upside down and shake it, little black flecks will fall out of the bottle. Based on those two descriptions, which one do you think is the cracked black pepper? If you chose the item on the right, you're correct.
Choose the potato. Potato.
We're looking for a potato. We know potatoes are a lot like people. They come in all different shapes and sizes and colors and lots of different types of potatoes. But we also know that most of them are all considered grains on our food pyramid. Most of them are cylindrical or spherical in shape. So they're either shaped kind of like a tube or a little bit like a ball. And the ones that we use in class all have brown skins. Now, in the pictures below on the left, we have a green spherical or round, a green round fruit with a little tiny stem at the top. The item on the right is brown and cylindrical. It's also a root vegetable, or it is a root vegetable. Which one, based on those two descriptions, the green item or the brown item, which one do you think is the potato? If you chose the brown root vegetable on the right, you are correct.
Choose the milk. Milk.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and skip this last item because it asks for milk, but it's not quite our coconut milk. So I'm going to go ahead and skip it, and we're going to end right there. If you've been with us so far, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for getting to know a little bit more about the ingredients in dill pickle soup. And I hope that you try it. And if you do, let us know what you think. All right, everybody, have a great day.